Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1771 of our daily content grinds. So we just had the season finale for Transformers Cyberworld, and by just, I mean, this was like apparently a week ago and it completely fell under my radar. But I have like followed the series here and there. Like I would like save it up for a few weeks and then just catch up on episodes, because that's the 15-minute time frame I have in my life to watch any TV show. So it might as well be a 5-minute episode show. So I have been keeping up. I have seen the whole series, but now that the finale is out, I figured this is a good time to play catch up and kind of talk about the whole thing. Now that season 1 of this experiment is over, we can kind of track how it is doing as a franchise, as a quick replacement for Earthspark, as I still proclaim it to be. Though the more I see this, like the more I feel like, yeah, like there is actual thought behind this. I might be doing it a disservice by constantly calling it a quick replacement, even though that's technically what it was. So let's actually talk this. Now, for starters, we're going to focus on the show itself. We're not going to focus on the toy line, though admittedly, I think the toys have done, like, shockingly well for what they are. Like, usually when I go to, like, a Walmart or a Target, well, Target, I think, more so, I have seen thin pegs of these toys. I have noticed toys sell through. Like, my Target has gone through 2 rounds of Grimlocks, which I was waiting for them to go on, like, better than 15% off sale before I picked one up. But no, it never made it to that point. They were just that quick. And it seems like the new Energon Surge stuff has been doing all right. My Walmarts have those, like, cardboard displays set up, and they do seem to be pretty picked through. So, credit where credit's due. Like, toy-wise, they can't be making a huge amount of money off the toy line because it's all smaller, cheaper figures, but it does seem to be working out for them. Like, it does seem to move. And my area is not exactly known for its fast toy sales. Like, you either gotta be you basically have to be Digital Circus merch to sell any faster around here than anything Cyberworld. So, you know what? Actually, kind of impressed. The one exception is the Scorponok. I have a Walmart that I visit like once a week, and I just keep seeing the clearance sticker on it tick down farther. The last time I was there, this once $60 toy was down to $15, and they still had 2 left. I've already got one. I paid $40 when it was on clearance. I regret it. It's a terrible toy. There's no $60 value to it. So I'm kind of waiting to see how far it ticks down. I kind of want to see how bad it gets. Okay, but that's all beside the point. Okay, so financially, toy-wise, it seems to be doing pretty well. How did the show turn out? So let's start with the stuff I actually really like about the show. I like how you can present Transformers here in a different way. So Optimus Prime with a basketball is something that goes all the way back to the original G1 cartoon. And I think it's a scene a lot of people don't take enough into account for when they think of Optimus Prime as a character, is him just kind of like sitting back at Teletran 1 practicing his basketball spins on his finger, and only having to stop because an emergency call comes in. Like, there's a side of Optimus you don't normally get to see. This one has a little bit of like humor and jovialness to him, so like writing wise, I don't think this is terribly far off from the original. He's a fun depiction. I would say all the characters are, for the most part, fun depictions, you know? I really like Gremlin Chop Shop. I still really like little gremlin guys skittering around. So, character-wise, setting-wise, like, I was not really sold on the idea of, like, they're on a world that forces them to go through, like, video game-style scenarios. And I'm still a little bit iffy on that, but again, as just a fun little 5-minute distraction cartoon, it is kind of fun watching Transformers do things I wouldn't normally see them doing, you know? like little physical challenge things, and things that look like it should be happening on like Ninja Warrior Wipeout instead of Transformers, or in this case, in this case it looks like they're playing Rocket League. It's fun, it's fun. It doesn't hurt anything at all whatsoever. It's just a different vibe. And and we need that. I think Transformers desperately needs different vibes. This might not be one that connects to everybody, but I'll be honest, like for what it is, it's not bad. It really isn't. One aspect of the show I'm really surprised by is an aspect of the theme song, is what theme song there is. One of the lines is, figure out whose side you're on. And I thought to myself, that makes no sense. It's Autobots versus Decepticons, right? That's how it's going to go. No, not necessarily. This has been fascinating to see just how much you can mix things up. In episode 2, we see Bumblebee and Megatron doing a challenge cooperatively. Like, we see them getting along, at least for like a moment. We've seen characters like Mirage, who kind of just does whatever he wants, whatever benefits him at the time. He's freelance. We see Chop Shop, who's just kind of an idiot and can basically be swayed to either side based on who was nicest to him at the moment. Even like Big Scorponok, who is like the big bad threat in the desert, turns out to be a nice guy if you actually just show him some friendship. Like, he just doesn't want to be lonely anymore. Relatable. And then things like this. Like, even the finale, Starscream, of all people, helps out the Autobots. You've got the Dinobots, who are usually off on their own. You mix things up really well. To the point where, like, yeah, like this isn't really about Autobot and Decepticon. Like, there's different mentalities and ideologies at stake here that means you can mix things up a little bit. And that's fascinating. Right now, I think my favorite example of that is Arachnid, who is a Decepticon in affiliation in the toy line, but in story was one of Elita 1's teammates, someone else that they thought Skybite chomped. Well, no. She's alive, and after some reconciliation, a little bit of memo surgery in order to get the story straight, she actually cooperated with the Autobots, which is, again, not something I would have expected out of any iteration of Arachnid. Now, it might be in service to Galvatron, it might not be. They were a little bit vague about it, which is, again, something I like. Yeah, it looked like she sent some kind of communication to him, but at the same time, she did not play a part in the finale, making me think maybe she wasn't all that tied to him. I don't know. And that's actually interesting. I didn't expect to have, like, character intrigue in this show in particular, because it is only 5-minute episodes. You don't think they have time to set that up. And that is something to point out, is it is exceptionally difficult to create some kind of engaging story, even if it's for kids, in only a 5-minute window. And they are figuring out how to do that. Is it the most compelling? No. Is it Beast Wars or Prime levels? No. But it is actually, like, presenting stories I did not expect in the time that is allotted. It takes 3, they do it across multiple episodes sometimes. But for the most part, it's actually impressive what they accomplish. Like, I really like the growth of Grimlock throughout these 36 5-minute episodes. Just fun. So you basically break it down into like it's like a standard size season, but only 15-minute episodes. So it's weird how they work through it. But I like the evolution of Grimlock throughout the series, because he's really gruff and a loner at first. He wants nothing to do with Prime, but as they are forced to compete and forced to cooperate at different times, he does gain a respect for Optimus Prime and the kind of leader that he is, to the point where we're at the finale, like in the finale stage, like he's the one rallying people behind Optimus Prime. He's the one who still believes in him. Despite the storyline that we're going to talk about in a minute. I really like the growth. I like seeing this. Like I like Russian Grimlock, which is so weird to think about. So we're gonna start talking finale here. We're gonna start talking pros and cons here a little bit more. Galvatron as a season 1 villain is, I think, okay at best, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not entirely sold on him as like a main villain type because he was introduced so suddenly. Again, consequences of a 5-minute episode, but like there was no like episodes building up to his reveal. They're like, this junk guy in the desert is actually Galvatron. Like the big energy siphon that he's working on doesn't really have a whole lot of build up. It just kind of seems like he shows up briefly to show off like how imposing he is, how powerful he is, and then just kind of leaves, and we kind of forget about him, for 6-7 episodes at a time. So by the time he actually shows up at the ending, I'm like, okay, well, I know him, but I don't feel like he is like end boss threat. He is, though, because of his power level. Now, the finale, the last 3 episodes, does start showing a flaw in this series, and it really is in combat choreography. So, one thing about the fight scene that I noticed in the end is that everything seems very ineffective. Nothing really has impact to it. Like Wheeljack puts a bomb on Grimlock at one time, or on Galvatron at one time, and it pops like a firework. Like it doesn't have a whole lot of like force. Doesn't have like a lot of impact to it. A lot of those shots that are fired are just like the same little generic little pew pew lasers with the same little tiny gun noises. Like, I mean, I can't really, like, I have to compare it to G1. I'm not comparing this quality-wise to G1. But you think in G1 where different weapons had different sound effects, like when the Seekers fired their lasers, they sounded different than your standard blasters. When Optimus and Megatron fired their weapons, they sounded different. The explosions had a lot more force behind them. And I just felt like nothing in this fight seemed impacted. Like even the little like shot animations were really stiff. Like I didn't see like barely any recoil to the shots, even from Galvatron, who's supposed to be super powerful. Galvatron, who at no point actually like used this thing's flamethrower mode. Like the whole point of his toy is like you can pull the lever and like the exhaust flip forward to become twin flamethrowers. At no point did he use that in the fight. He threatened it once and didn't actually use it. He only used flames in dragon mode. So just like he spent the entire fight blowing his own fire exhaust back in his face while little tiny lasers fired out of the barrel. It just felt ineffective. Like it didn't have like the big fight feel to it because nothing they were doing seemed to like have any kind of like real impact. A great example of just fight choreography that does not work is the example of, at one point, Bumblebee finds a vehicle mode scan for his brand new giant Energon Surge toy, coincidentally. And his first thought is to just jump in car mode to ram Galvatron, and Galvatron catches him with his hand. Like it's no big deal. And then later on, Grimlock tries the same thing. He just tries diving at Grimlock, at Galvatron, gets caught, gets tossed away. Snarl tries it, gets caught, tossed away. And then Elita tries it, gets caught, tossed away. And then Wheeljack. The last 4 happen in the span of a minute. Please, this does not work. You would think after this like surprise attack attempt has failed 4 times, Wheeljack would go, okay, let me try something else. I mean, and that's the kind of thing that's like, yeah, like the fight scene just kind of felt I don't know, I keep using the same adjectives. It felt it was lacking impact. It was lacking force. And it was lacking intensity. It didn't feel like a season-ending fight, and it just kind of comes down to just I don't know, like shots and choreography just did not seem like it was there. Now, Galvatron himself is depicted as imposing and powerful. He fends off Scorponok in hand-to-hand combat. I'll give him that. And it did take a lot to actually bring him down. I will give him that. But having him be powerful, but also having a lackluster battle, just kind of defeats the point of making him strong in the first place. I'd rather the fight be flashy than all about just making him look strong. So, issues with the series aside, things like that, we are leaving off the season on a few storyline beats, one of which is the discovery that whatever happened to planet Cybertron, Optimus Prime is the one who pushed the button. Now, this could be Arachnid meddling with memories. As I said, she could have some kind of connection to Galvatron, as it's implied, so this could be fake. This could be a lie. We don't know. They took it to face value, and they, for whatever reason, Bumblebee especially seemed really angry about this and took it for face value. Almost as if they think Optimus, they are acting like Optimus did it intentionally for the sake of destroying Cybertron intentionally. That's the impression that they are going off of. And I hate that. I hate that. I hate when my heroes are not depicted as heroes, and I hate when someone like Optimus Prime, who's proven himself time and time again, is suddenly cast into doubt because of something that they have no full context for. They don't know if he was being forced to do it by something. They didn't know if there's a greater good behind it. They don't know what actually happened to Cybertron. They're taking Arachnid's word for it, and I feel like that's going to come back and bite them eventually. But yeah, right now, Optimus is palling around basically got left with the Dinobots because the actual Autobots don't really trust him right now. And B especially is just super furious at it. Now, B has been juicing up on that forbidden Energon ball that they found midway through the series. So he's kind of hopped up on power-ups and super aggressive throughout the finale. He does not acting like Bumblebee in the least. And also probably explains why he's so distrustful of Optimus Prime despite everything. So in that sense, okay, fine. He probably has some reasoning behind what, there's a thing to it. I don't like when Optimus and Bumblebee are at odds. It always feels forced in. I'm willing to see where this goes, but frankly, it's not a narrative direction that interests me. We'll just have to sit and wait. No idea when season 2 is going to happen, because they are implying a lot of changes in season 2. So, and chief among those are things like a lot of the barriers have come down, so more parts of this world they are on have opened up. They're really implying that things are going to be going on in the Arctic area of the planet. They're really focusing shots on snowy mountains. So I'm assuming we're going there. The fact that we have multiple Transformers in the current toy line that are out now or upcoming that have Arctic themes kind of implies that. We're also getting Maximals. Now, we know Cheetor's on the way, and we also know that there are toys out, not out yet, but we've seen toys of Jazz as a polar bear. So we know we might not have a traditional slate of Maximals. It might be a lot of animal Autobots are coming, and they fall under the Maximal faction. It is fascinating to see them drop in protoform state. That's actually something that's kind of cool. In general, I will say one thing that I keep getting surprised by in this series is remembering, oh yeah, Transformer nerds write this. Nerds in general write this, right from the Yamcha pose in episode 2. You kind of figure that part out. The line that everyone's freaking out about is Optimus here, because his grand plan to deliver the final blow to Galvatron is I'm going to turn into a truck now, which he literally states. And if you don't know the meme behind that, that's the line in '07 when they did a contest for the movie. It says the most popular line suggested is going to be said by Optimus in the movie. That's the line that actually won. Not freedom is the right of all sentient beings. No. Everyone went with a meme, and they rejected that and went with the safe option. But we've been making fun of it ever since, and it's been like a more popular thing to make fun of now. Like on TikTok, you see like Optimus's voice chopped up in order to say that. Well, here's an Optimus just flat out use the line. He's literally memeing on us. But that's not the line that caught my eye and made me smile. The sentence that caught my eye, caught my ear. It's a line from Galvatron, because the line from Galvatron is I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know if I'm going to get this exactly right. Meet your end with dignity. I despise whiners. That's a G1 Galvatron line from Five Faces of Darkness. It's when they are like, it's when one of the sweeps gets sucked into a vortex in space, and it's implied he dies. And I loved hearing that. A Five Faces of Darkness reference is always going to make me happy, but like hearing like, I'm so used to Megatron just getting his classic lines pitched in. Like, to hear one from Galvatron is kind of special. So that made me happy. That part made me really happy. So, there's a lot to break down, because frankly, yeah, like 36 episodes, even in 5-minute chunks, is still a lot of story. And like I said, because they only have 5 minutes to work with per episode, they gotta be super punchy, super snappy with all of the delivery. So, this does go very, very quickly. It's a brilliant show for the ADHD, because it is constantly throwing new things at you. So, yes, it's actually designed to hold kids' attention these days. And okay, I kind of understand that now. But I do think the series is better than I expected it to be. Is it like gonna be like heralded as an all-time great? Probably not, but season 1, I think season 1 stands pretty well. I'm curious about season 2. I'm not saying excited about season 2, but I'm curious about season 2. Because there are a lot of directions they could go in right now. So, that is it for me. If you're caught up, if you saw it, let me know in the comments below what you think of season 1 of the series, or what you thought of the finale. Or if you're just using me to catch up so you don't have to watch yourself, let me know how it sounds to you. Either way, leave a comment down below, and as always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.